Please welcome to the stage the star of Lovelace, Amanda Seyfried.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here tonight. Let's talk about this film. This, do you want to say hi to everyone? Hi, everyone. Amazing turnout tonight as well for you. This is great.
It's just me. There's nobody else coming. I hope that's okay.
We're going to get some questions from you guys in a little bit. I'm going to kick things off. Congratulations, Amanda. This is
Thanks.
The film's incredible. Your performance is mind blowing, to be honest, and a story as well it's tragic. What a life this woman was forced to lead. Really, was that the attraction for you to play this part? Was, I imagine it was a challenge in terms of the role for you.
I think we all the fact that we all have this idea about who this woman is because she's a household name was so fascinating because she's not. I mean, her story is completely unlike what we projected as a society, and I don't know. I just think it's so attractive when someone has a completely like it's just so tragic and so the opposite of what we think.
Is it easier or harder as an actor to play someone who's existed, a real person?
It is absolutely harder because you have the responsibility to validate this person's existence. You have this there's just, I mean, there's not a lot of freedom. I mean, the cool thing is that you have a lot of stuff to work with. For somebody that's famous, there's a lot of stuff available to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're in a box for that, and you have to you got to tell their story the way they would want you to tell it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because it's this perspective of our movie is from her perspective.
Well, that's the clever thing that I love about the film is like you almost get you get two sides to it. You get the side that everybody saw, that the public saw, his perfect life almost, and then you kind of go back and you get her perspective, which was anything but that.
Oh, yeah.
So you get these two sides to it, which is a very clever way of narrating the film almost.
It is. I mean, I think it would have been great either way. If it had been more linear, that would have been cool too. But people, it is a bit shocking halfway through where you're seeing what was really going on underneath all that.
Yeah. Did you have an idea of who she was going into the film, and did that change through doing research and being her throughout the making of this film?
Yeah, the first thing that I did was I read her first book, Ordeal, and her accounts of her life and what she had to deal with her husband in terms of like domestic abuse was like, it was insane, it was depressing, it was hard to read. And knowing that, my whole idea of her changed. She was just a household name. I was born in the mid-'80s. I had no idea who this woman was. But I knew she was a porn star.
Yeah. But she was a lot more than that as well, especially post that part of her life.
That's what's so fascinating about her. I don't think if I had gone through her ordeal, I don't know if I would have had the strength to get back up after being like thrown down and just abused and just literally just like shaken to the core. I don't know if I would have been able to speak out and find the strength to like tell my story, and she did. And she was an anti-porn crusader with Gloria Steinem and Catherine McKinnon, and she tried her best. She wrote 2 books to try to speak out against domestic violence as well, and in porn, and it was just a lot of people listened, but most people didn't.
For you, what was the thing that made you want to do this project? Was there one thing, or was it a selection of?
The one thing was that I was looking for a challenge. I wanted to play somebody that really existed and had a real story to tell. That was the main thing. And when this opportunity came, I was like, well, it's pretty risky, but man, what an opportunity. If done right, it could be really emotionally, it could be quite an education for me personally as well.
Yeah.
As an actor. So that was that was the first thing. The script was so good. I have these guys, Jeffrey and Rob Epstein, Jeffrey Friedman, these directors. They did Howl, and they did a bunch of. Rob won an Oscar, he did this amazing documentary about Harvey Milk. Milk was based on just really lots of integrity. I knew they were going to do it well. I knew they were going to tell her story.
They do people really well, don't they?
Yeah. I love their documentaries. I think they're just really smart.
What did you walk away learning then? You said you wanted to learn something. Did you walk away learning, I don't know, something about yourself or in terms of your career or
I think
about...
I feel like I'm pretty lazy. I usually play versions of myself, and I realize that I do have the capacity to embody someone else, which is good, which is nice and gives me a little bit of confidence. I feel like I don't know. I feel like a real actor, finally. I realize that stepping into someone else's shoes is one of the most rewarding things ever.
Yeah.
And I learned that it's really hard to dive that deeply into something and come out. It doesn't happen. What I'm trying to say is it doesn't happen quickly. I kind of had to. It was hard leaving this role behind. It was really weird.
Well, you did it before Les Mis, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah.
You filmed this before Les Mis.
Thank God. I came to London like 3 weeks after I wrapped Lovelace, and I had to play this 18-year-old virgin singing like these love songs. And thank God for that, because I was so deeply into the Linda of it all. Because she's, I don't know.
This is an important role for you.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely. I'm trying to prove to people that I'm worthy of being up there on that screen. Because that's all I can do. That's all I want to ever do. You know what I mean? It sucks. I don't have any other passions.
But what you do up there is incredible entertainment, but also in terms of you talking about it being a real person, and it's a brave story to tell as well for this woman, but it's an important story.
It is important, and there's so many cynics. I mean, there's so many people that still ask me, really, do you believe that? Do you? I was on a panel last week, and these 50, 60 people were like, I don't know. She's a porn star. I mean, she seemed to really love it. But the fact is, there's probably aspects that she loved about her life in the 17 days she spent in the porn industry, like the glamour of it. But the fact is, this woman was beaten down to nothing. Little known fact, she was on welfare most of her life, even though she was the poster child for a movie that made $600 million worldwide.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
We're going to take a look at a couple of clips. The first clip is the start of the story, really, and what she thought was the start of a loving relationship, a supportive relationship. And we'll talk about your co-star in a second after we've seen this clip where talking about meeting the parents for the first time. She loved him.
He was her escape from a really
one controlled to another.
One controlled environment to an even more controlled environment. But she didn't know that. We all choose the wrong person at a certain point in our lives.
Let's talk about Peter.
What a creep.
In real life?
He's so good at that. No, funny enough, he's not.
You say that. He's so good at scaring you.
Yeah.
Whatever he does when he's playing those intimidating characters, within a second I'm scared.
I know. Yeah, he's really good at playing the psychopath or the sociopath. I love it. It's really good to work opposite because he's just one of the best.
Do you learn a lot when you work opposite people like that? Do you kind of feed off people who are...
Yeah, I think they raise you up in some way. On some level, you're definitely better for having them with you. But I just learned that it's good to be relaxed, and I keep learning that with the best actors that I've worked with. They're not holding on too tight to anything, to any idea, to any word in the script. It's like they're in it. It's so interesting to watch.
When you're working alongside someone, did you know Peter before working on this film?
No, I didn't.
But when you're about to work with someone on a project like this, and the relationship between your two characters is so tempestuous, passionate, and violent as well, how do you prepare for that between the two of you?
You just have to. I mean, what we did was we did a little bit of improv, not alone because that would have been creepy. But we had Rob and Jeff in the room with us, and we'd go through certain scenes, And we'd start out with the dialogue, and then we'd go off the page. And we did it for 5 days. And he's an easy person to get to know. He's very open, and I like to think that I am too. So it was super easy. I mean, you never know. You could get somebody that's just... You could get someone that's pretentious and doesn't have the time for this kind of stuff, and then it's really difficult to create the relationship while the cameras are rolling. But with him, it was just like we meshed very, very almost immediately. And trust is like the main thing. I mean, you gotta believe this relationship because that's what the movie's about. I mean, some movies are about, people who have been in relationships for 15, 20 years, about married couples. But this one, luckily, we had the meeting of the two characters first. But, I mean, it could be worse. But I would have been able to do that with him because it worked.
I imagine trust was a big thing for you in a whole around this movie as well, in terms of, you said you wanted to put yourself out there in terms of encompassing this character and stuff. The nudity involved in it, this incredible character that you're playing. Trust must have been a big thing overall for you with this.
Absolutely, and there was no moment at which I was uncertain. Rob and Jeff created the perfect atmosphere, and especially because I get it from both sides. They're coming from one place, but they're articulating differently.
Yeah,
and I'm getting so much support. And with Sharon Stone, who plays my mother, she's unrecognizable. She's like, she was just there. She's very maternal. She was just on my side, trying to help me through like the tough parts. And I felt 100% supported. It was almost like better than what I had growing up as a child.
New family.
It was so ideal.
We've got another clip here talking about trust, and this is a great scene where you kind of see her. She's almost realizing what she can get out of this situation, almost in terms of the world that she's entering. This is a great scene where she's having a photograph taken. I love him. He's so nice to her.
Well, Wes Bentley too. We've got some crazy cameos in this movie.
He's so nice to her.
I know, and it's the only scene that Chuck's not really present for, which is. I think she was able to... I mean, Chuck literally wouldn't let her go to the bathroom without him. So it was nice that she had moments that she could... where people were sweet to her and gave her some really positive attention.
Yeah. And you mentioned Sharon Stone. We're going to look at this final clip, which, she very much did go from one controlling environment to another. And she reached out, at a point where she was almost at breaking point back to her mother. And this is the reaction that she got. Wow. I was sobbing at that point watching that film. It's like, you can't believe that she, the one person or people that you expect to keep, the door to be open for her, to help her, for her to be reached out, she gets the door thrown back in her face.
Well, to be fair, that was the time. And the way Dorothy was brought up, and she thinks that she's doing her daughter a favor. She thinks that she's loving her. Like, tough love was very popular, I think. Probably still is, but in certain households. But it's a pretty insane. She's turned away from her own mother. I would just live in the bushes. If I were her at that point. But at the end of the scene, Chuck calls, and he comes back and picks her up, so.
I don't know who's more terrifying, the mum or Chuck. They're kind of like, they should just run away together.
Exactly.
They'd live a happy life together. He'd be terrified of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he should
They're made for each other.
She'd probably keep him in check, if that's possible.
Wow, and on a light note, whilst that was on your favourite hairstyle, that is one thing I loved about the film as well. Is it must have been for a girl and clothes and all that and looks great fun to dress up.
It really did help though get into character as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so important. I know Daniel Day-Lewis always says he starts with the shoes. I get it. I finally get it. I always thought that was kind of weird. And I was like, come on, it's all in your head. But it's true. The costume is so much of it. So I had such a good time. God, I wish I was born in the late 50s so I could have enjoyed it. But I get to be an actor and play, you know.
Do you have a favourite? I mean, favourite's probably not the right word to use, but do you have a favourite film or scene from the film, or one that you're most proud of from the film? I mean, the whole
From
film
this
you should be
film?
most proud of. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My favorite scene is with the cops. She's running away from Chuck, and she's running down the street in her bare feet, and he catches up with her, and like falls onto the pavement and cuts herself, and these cops come up, and they recognize her, and as soon as they see that it's the porn star Linda Lovelace, they're like, you're bruised, and your husband is looking suspicious, but you're a porn star, you should be fine. Can I have an autograph? It's really weird. It's crazy, but it's my favorite scene because it does show
people's
scope.
preconception of as well of her as a person as well.
Yeah, like you're getting beat up. You're a porn star. Whatever. It's disgusting, but I don't know.
If only they'd looked in her face, they would have seen.
Oh my God.
Sheer like terror and
Yeah.
help.
It's definitely not for the.
Yeah, it's not for the light-hearted.
Not at all.
It's an incredible film to see. Right, let's get some questions from this huge audience that we have today. We have a couple of mics on either side of the room, so if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get the microphone brought to you and ask away the questions. Who would like to go first? We've got a lady in the pink top right there.
How was this role different from all the other roles you've played in other films?
It was just the fact that I was playing somebody that really had a life, an actual human being. It was so much. I don't know. It was just so different from. It's such a departure. I'm usually just playing myself. And
Very hard on yourself. By the way.
Oh no, I mean, but you know, it's easy. It's just like I just want to be natural, as realistic as possible when I'm acting. But this was, God, I even had an accent. It was hard, but it's fun.
Gentleman in front there.
Hi, I'm a fan of your work actually, and my favorite film is Chloe, which I think you were phenomenal in it.
Thanks.
Actually, I have two questions. My first question is, how did you prepare for this role? And another question is, can I take a photo with you after the Q&A?
Why not? Second question, yes. First question, she wrote 2 books, Out of Bondage and Ordeal. She also, there's a lot of footage online from when she was into the anti-porn movement. We reenacted some of those interviews as well. There's a lot of, I mean, there's a movie called Deep Throat.
Had you seen it?
Which
before
is
the film?
No, it was pretty boring. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not sexy. There's nothing sexy about it. But I did as much. I saw everything that I could possibly see. I had everything I could get my hands on, and that's how I prepared. I mean, you just got to know this person. You got to love the person that you're playing. Even if, like, even Peter, I mean, he finds a way to make this guy. He finds a way to sympathize with him, and it's hard when you're playing a monster. So it's like, but you have to find some way to connect to each character. So that's what I did.
Well, did you speak to anyone that knew her?
Yeah, I'm actually in touch, very friendly with her children, who are, I think, 33 and 36, and her daughter is a spitting image of her, and it's really, I still can't get over it when I'm with them. I was just with them again last week, and it's just weird. It's just weird.
Have they seen the film?
Yeah, they love it. They've seen it a bunch of times. They actually, they've been traveling with us while we were doing the press tour a little bit. It's the second best thing to having Linda around, of course. And they loved their mother. They really loved her. And when they saw the film, they were like, I can finally show, they both said we can finally show this to our partners so they can really get a handle on who our mother really was.
Wow.
Which is profound.
Yeah.
It was amazing. That's why. So I'm hanging out with them a lot to get some good
You best
encouragement. No, I'm kidding.
Lady here.
Hi, Amanda. I love you. And I have 2 questions. If you can meet Linda today, is there anything in particular you would say to her?
Great question.
And in that clip with Sharon Stone, was that your real hair?
I wish. I was actually thinking about getting a perm because it's
Don't.
really. I'm not gonna.
Don't.
Well,
I've been there, done it. Don't
Really?
do it. Yeah, don't do it. The wigs are
there's
much better.
something so fun about that bouncy hair, but it was. I only got to wear that wig like twice. I don't know. I guess I've been asked this question before about Linda. What I'd say to her, I would just. I don't know if I would say anything. I would probably just thank her for trying to tell her story as hard as she did. I don't know. I feel for her. I in some way love her because I spend so much time with her. In certain ways, I feel like a stalker because I know so much about her. When I met her kids, I was like, I'm playing your. This isn't creepy, but I know a lot about this woman, and when you know this much about somebody, it's so hard to not just care deeply about them. So, I'd say thanks.
And care deeply about what they stood for.
What?
And care deeply about what they stood for.
Yeah, I mean, she is just a normal person like us, and she just made some bad choices. And it's just, you just see how, I don't know, things sometimes just don't go the way you plan.
Right next to you, lady with a question there.
Hi, Amanda.
Hey.
Greetings from my husband. He loves you.
Oh.
Just wondering how long you're going to stay in London, and do you have any special plans?
Oh, only here till Thursday. It's a quick one. I have a vacation next week before I start my next film, so I'm eager to get back to my dog, and I'm just gonna pretty much sit with my dog. Yeah, you can find him on Twitter.
Love London, though.
Not kidding. What?
You love London.
I love
though.
London. I've lived
She
here
knows
a
the
lot.
tube inside out. It's
I know the tube
unbelievable.
inside out. It's. I love the. I never ride the subway in New York. I barely take cabs here because I like the tube. It's a really good system. Maybe I'm.
If you're ever lost
boring.
and you see her, she's a great guy.
I also am a map studier, so I know exactly where I am at all times.
Lady here, in the with the grey sweater on. This one here, yeah.
Hi Amanda, you're amazing.
Thanks.
Did you, when you were 13 years old, did you always dream of being an actress?
13 was the meteorology year. I wanted to be a weather girl. So, no. After that was like, it changed so much. I always wanted to be on television for some reason because I was pretty outgoing as a kid. But yeah, that was, I was definitely going to be a meteorologist. And then I think after that, a tennis player. And then there's at one point a pastry chef. It's dreams, man.
Keep them going. Keep the dreams going. Next
Yeah,
question.
it's true.
Yeah.
One of them will work out.
Lady there, yeah. Just, yeah, great.
Hi, Amanda. I didn't really have anything about your movies, but how are you today?
Oh, thanks for asking. I'm really, really tired.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to eat. I'm going to have some dim sum later. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Is it raining still? Anybody?
It wasn't raining when I came, so I don't know.
I really want to go shopping when I'm done with this.
Maybe we should go together.
Yeah, I need a new phone.
If you're
so.
buying, then definitely. Just pass the mic behind if that's okay, the lady there. Thank you.
All your other films, you've played like quite innocent people. Like, was it quite hard to play a sort of?
That's actually the funniest thing is. It would seem like a challenge, but I really love going out of my comfort zone in terms of. I mean, it's not even out of my comfort zone anymore. I like to play these racy, dark roles. I like to play like in Chloe, it's like the psychosexual stuff. It's just really, really, really interesting for me because there's such a stigma attached to it. I don't know. I like to explore that kind of stuff. So, sorry, I think I cut you off, but.
Do you think this will broaden that even more, do you think, in terms of, of where you go and where you want to go and what you want to try?
I hope it opens people in the industry, the directors that I want to work with. I hope it kind of opens their minds up about me and my capabilities, or at least what I want to do. I mean, if I keep doing this kind of stuff, maybe I'd love to play a sociopath at some point. I think it's really interesting. My mom actually works on a psych ward, and she meets incredibly charming, weird, just eccentric, sick people. And it's fascinating. I mean, I think it would just be really, really fun. Yeah.
You could do a bit of everything. Comedy as well. You've got great timing. Comedy
Thanks.
as well. Yeah.
I have a comedy coming out next year. I just did one, trying to keep people guessing. So that was fun.
Is that it? That's all we get. Just comedy.
Oh, well, do you guys know Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote another gem of a movie, and it's a Western, but it's all modern day speak. Like, we're all like talking like this. Nobody really has a Southern accent, because that could be really distracting.
Yeah.
And it's a like broad comedy. It's like a Blazing Saddles.
Great.
Really is funny. And I actually do something this movie that I've never seen done in any movie ever with Neil Patrick Harris. It's pretty gross, but it's pretty funny as well.
And that's all she's going to tell us about that one. Lady here in the middle with the lovely curly hair. That's not perm, by the way. That's natural, I think.
Yeah, it's natural.
What was it like working with Seth MacFarlane?
Oh, really fun. Did you know that Seth MacFarlane is actually an incredibly talented actor? He stars in this movie. Like, it's him. He's the lead guy. Throngs of girls are going to be going after him if they aren't already after this movie. He's really, really funny, and he lets all of it. He always thinks it's about casting, so he casts who he thinks would be perfect for the role. And I was lucky enough to be considered, and then he just lets you do what you need to do, and you keep with the script, and you have so much freedom. Being around him is really entertaining.
I bet after this, it's kind of great to have these different.
Yeah.
From this to singing and being kind of well, it was pretty sad, but still singing cheers you up, doesn't it? Of course it does.
Not when you don't think you're singing well enough.
I started that, didn't really think where I was going with that one. We've got time for 2 more questions. Hello, young lady. What's your question? Can we get a microphone to this young lady?
Oh, you can.
Or you can shout.
You can shout it out.
Hi.
Hey.
Do you have any favorite places here in London?
In London, favorite places? Ooh, I
for shopping.
I love
Topshop.
Topshop, and for eating, I like just walking the streets and not in that way. But I don't know. I got really into Notting Hill the last time I was living here. I like also walking the park.
Amanda's Guide to London, included with a tuba map as well. Last question from a lady at the back with the stripy top on.
Hi. My question would be, how was preparing for this role different from any other role you've prepared for?
I had these big limits that I had to just channel this one specific person with this one specific life, and I didn't really have the liberties to go outside of that, because it was really just from her point of view, and I guess it was a little easier to. I guess I prepared. I mean, I don't normally prepare that much for a lot of roles, because I'm usually just playing a version of myself in these specific circumstances. Like with Les Mis, for instance, I sang every day, and I rehearsed some dancing stuff, but it was all physical. It wasn't like this emotional journey at all. And this one was different, because I just had to. I had to jump into someone else's skin, which is really. It's got its advantages and disadvantages.
Well, the results of it are absolutely incredible.
Thanks.
The film's out on the 23rd of August. Thank you all so much for your time and for
Thanks for
coming down
coming.
tonight.
This is really nice.
And for your questions. Amanda Seyfried, everyone.
Thanks.